26th, the first of promised 2 puddings. We're not doing both today, we're just doing one, but this is the first one we're doing. Chocolate Pudding Day. We love chocolate pudding. Who doesn't love chocolate pudding? The only thing is, most of us probably just eat it out of the box. You know, the box mix, nice and easy, either the instant kind you shake up and you let it chill, or the cook on the stove kind that, you know, gets that nice skin on the top that some of us love. So that's what we're doing today is chocolate pudding, but we are doing ours from scratch. It would be too easy to just sit here and mix a box of pudding together and call it a day. But we're not just going to make chocolate pudding, we're also going to make some other elements to it, and we're going to make something from my childhood that I remember that I really liked, but elevated, because when I was a kid we did it with the box mix. But today we'll do it from scratch, alrighty? So here's what you need for today. Let's get started. Chocolate Pudding Day. Okay, for our homemade chocolate pudding today you'll need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, a half a teaspoon of espresso powder, a half a cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 3 large egg yolks, a half a cup of heavy cream, 2½ cups of whole milk, 5 tablespoons of butter, and a 4-ounce bar of bittersweet chocolate finely chopped. Alrighty, so first things first, take your 2 teaspoons of vanilla and your espresso powder and just mix those together and let them sit for a minute, okay? We're just going to make like a little kind of paste over here of this, of the vanilla and the espresso, okay? And just kind of leave that off to the side. Then in a sauce pot we're going to get started here. Sugar, cocoa, salt, and cornstarch, okay? Cornstarch always seems to stick to my bowls. I don't know why. Okay, and we're just going to whisk those together in here. Don't turn it on the heat yet. We're not cooking this powder concoction. We're just mixing it all together in this pot, okay? Because we're going to add some other stuff to this. Now to this, you're going to whisk in your 3 egg yolks and your heavy cream, okay? And just whisk this all together till it's all incorporated. Okay, I kind of like this recipe because it's kind of like that one we did the other day where I'm trying to think which one it was. It was the Laura in the Kitchen one where she basically, maybe for the eclairs, where she cooked all the stuff together, cold, everything cold, and then brought it all up to temp, rather than doing the tempered egg thing, where you heat your milk and everything, then you add a little to the eggs, and then you just, you know, temper it, and then you put it all back in, and then you cook it. Like, she started everything from scratch. So this is kind of like that too. I'm just using a spatula here to make sure that I get everything off the bottom and the sides, because you want to make sure that that's all mixed together. And once you have that all incorporated, you're going to add your milk to this. Okay. And now you're going to put it on a low heat and start to heat this up, but make sure you're watching this. This is a babysit one, okay? You got to kind of sit here and stir it, and stir it, because you don't want this burning, okay? Just make sure everything is really whisked in together, and then we'll switch over to our spatula so we can make sure that we're scraping down the sides and everything, okay? Pretty easy today, right? And it's, you know, chocolate pudding from scratch. I know it's easy to just buy the box and, you know, eat it like that. Very, very easy, but sometimes just take the time to make it from scratch and just see the difference, because I'm telling you, I know already. I haven't even tasted this one. I've never done this particular recipe. I probably have made chocolate pudding before, but I've never done this recipe, which is, you know, I love when you see best chocolate pudding ever, you know. Okay. So I'm anxious to try it. I know it's going to be 100 times better than the box mix could ever be, you know what I mean? So sometimes take the time just to make it from scratch, just to see for yourself. I mean, yeah, maybe you're not going to do it all the time, but this one really is so easy because you're kind of mixing everything and then just heating it up. It's going to thicken up and become pudding like that. You're going to throw it in the fridge. Why not? You know what I mean? It doesn't take that much extra time, and, you know, you can really just have a great tasting homemade pudding rather than the box. Alrighty? So let me get this to temperature, and well, no particular temperature. Let's just get it to a pudding stage, which it's going to do as soon as it heats up. Alrighty, be right back. Okay, in the meantime, while this is thickening up here, remember, keep scraping the sides and the bottom, okay? Want to make sure that we're not burning anything. In the meantime, ooh, look, it's like Wonka's golden ticket. Open up your bittersweet chocolate here, and we're going to, it says to finely chop it, but I don't think it has to be finely chopped, but we are going to break it into pieces because we don't want these big squares. Although these big squares would probably melt down pretty easy once it's put into the hot mixture, but we're just going to chop it into smaller pieces, okay? Once you get it to this stage where it's thick and it's kind of starting to bubble, and it's bubbling, you're just going to cook it for about another 30 seconds or so. Okay, make sure you're scraping down your sides, scrape down the bottom of the pot, make sure you got everything working here. Okay, you're going to take it off the heat. And what you're going to do is mix in your 5 tablespoons of butter. Butter, you got to have butter. Everything's better with butter. And then take your 4 ounces of chocolate that you've chopped up and put that in there too. Okay. And we're just going to mix that till it's all melted together, which shouldn't take very long at all. Okay, probably be better with my whisk just to really make sure everything's mixed pretty good there. The last thing you're going to do is just take your, once everything's incorporated here, you just wanted the container that you're going to refrigerate your pudding in. I'm going to use this one here. I just want to put this through a strainer. Now, only because you're doing the egg thing, you want to make sure that you don't, as usual, have the scrambled egg bits. But I find when you do everything cold and bring it all to temperature, that doesn't really happen, for one. And as long as you're continually stirring while it's cooking and getting to that thickening stage, you should be fine, and you shouldn't have any of the egg bits. Now, if you just leave it sitting there and you walk away, and then you come back and you're scraping the bottom of your pot because everything kind of stuck there, then you're probably going to have it. See? No egg bits, which is nice. That's what you want, because you want a nice, smooth chocolate pudding. You don't want this grainy, lumpy chocolate pudding that you're finding little scrambled egg bits in. So anyway, there's our chocolate pudding from scratch. We're going to let this cool down, and we're going to pop it in the fridge for a couple hours, and we're going to come back and we're going to decorate this, and we're going to jazz it up so it reminds me of that chocolate pudding parfait thing we used to make as a kid in the Tupperware containers. It was the 70s, Alrighty, so be right back. Our pudding is all ready to go. I didn't cover it with the plastic, so it has that little bit of skin on it, but that's okay because that's just going to get chopped up in the pudding anyway. Like I was saying, the Tupperware parfait things she used to have, my mom used to have, kind of look like this, like a hurricane glass. And the thing that was so cool about them is you could put that Tupperware lid right on it, and the base popped off. If she still has them, I'm going to find them and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about for those of you that remember them. I made some fresh whipped cream, of course, because it's that easy. I cut down the sugar on it. I only did a teaspoon of sugar in it. It's just heavy cream and a teaspoon of sugar, just because the pudding's going to be sweet and have the, we don't need to over sweeten the whipped cream, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer my pudding in the glass here. Like I said, this reminds me of when I was a kid. We used to have these all the time, but never with homemade chocolate pudding. Okay? And then we're just going to take some of our whipped cream there, trying to do it as neatly as possible. I mean, I guess you could pipe it if you wanted to, but you know me and piping does not go well together. Okay, so we're going to do a layer of whipped cream in the middle, more chocolate pudding on top, and then finish with some whipped cream on the top. Now, you could jazz this up even more if you wanted to, in between layer. I mean, I only did the 2 layers here because I'm dying to eat this. What you could do is pipe it to make it prettier. You could also, in between layers, if you did more than, I did a big layer of chocolate here, and the whipped cream, and then the chocolate, and in between the layers, you could put crushed up Oreos, you could do crushed up graham cracker, and layer it like that to really make a fancy parfait type pudding thing. But there it is. It's ready to eat. And that's what we're going to do. Let me get a nice spoon here. And let's try this, because I'm dying to try this homemade chocolate pudding, because I know it's going to be really good. Okay. Oh, man. That is so good. You really just taste the chocolate in this. I mean, it's real chocolate. It's not that artificial chocolate pudding chocolate. It's like eating a chocolate bar. Oh my god, this is so good. And took nothing. I mean, 10 minutes to make the pudding. You throw it in the fridge. The whipped cream, as always, 2 minutes. Why make the store? You're still going to spend the 10 to 15 minutes making the box brand chocolate pudding. Why not make real chocolate pudding from scratch? So worth it. Alright, I gotta eat my parfait here. Chocolate pudding day. I don't care how you eat it. Eat some chocolate pudding today. And don't forget, we got another pudding coming up, I think, in 2 days. Tapioca. Never did that one, so I'm anxious to see what that one's all about. Alrighty? Have a great day, everybody, and we'll catch you tomorrow.